Hi, everybody. This is Coach Allison, and I'm back with your week 31 Defy Aging to review. So I hope everybody enjoyed Mobility Week last week and you're feeling refreshed and ready to go back to a higher intensity type of routine. So this week we're going to do intervals like we sort of typically do, but instead of rotating around our turf, you're going to be in your own space. So intervals, yes, but rotating, no. So you get to find a cozy little space and call it home today or this week. So there's 7 exercises total and 3 rounds. And you'll get a minute or so rest between each round, minute to 2 minutes of rest between each round. And each round is going to be timed a little bit differently. Round 1 is going to be short and sweet. So round 1 will be 20 seconds on, 25 seconds rest. Excuse me. Round 2 will be 30 seconds on, 35 seconds rest. And round 3 will be 40 seconds on, 45 seconds rest. So the rounds do get a little longer as we go, but you also get a little more rest time than the work time. So let's, and then of course, team builder at the end. So let's review our exercises for the week. Okay, team. The first station, well, I guess there's not really stations this week. So the first exercise is a tall kneel single arm overhead press. So the tall kneel is like this. So you're kneeling on both knees. So probably recommend a mat for this. But you're up in a tall position, so we're not kind of crouched back like this. Not a half kneel though, so both knees are down. We're going to do palm forward, and it's only single arm. And we do single arm presses. We want to look out for a few things. So we don't want to be overarching this your low back. This is my natural arch right here. Everyone's going to look a little different. But if the weight's a little too heavy, you might kind of be tempted to sort of overarch and do this to sort of compensate. So look out for that. In order to help with that, yes, not having a weight that's too heavy, but also sort of like kind of tucking your pelvis or your hips under. So you squeeze your butt and sort of tuck your hips under. I don't know if you could see me doing anything. This is just natural. And then if I tuck my hips under, I kind of like do a little pelvic thrust, kind of to bring my hips under. That sort of supports your back a little. It kind of locks everything in place, so it's harder to sort of arch the back. Anyways, the first round is going to only be a few reps each side because we are going to switch arms halfway through the set. I like to put my other hand on my hip. You can put it down at your side or out for some leverage, some balance, whatever you want to do. That is that. Anyone staying off the floor, you can opt to do, if you're staying off the floor strictly for like a knee issue, like you cannot kneel on the knees, or you had a knee surgery so you can't bend the knee very much, whatever, and you want to try something pretty challenging for stability, adding an extra challenge, sit on a stability ball, because this is really going to force you to engage your core similarly to those people kneeling on the floor. Okay. If you're not feeling quite, if you're unable to get on the floor, not feeling quite ready for that stability ball, sit on a regular bench. Totally fine. Kind of scoot forward so you're not 100%, 100% thigh hamstrings on the back on the box. Scoot forward a little bit, tall posture, and sit on whatever type of apparatus you have at your gym. So a couple of options there. We are going to switch arms halfway through. Exercise 2, now for those people who were already on the floor for the press, guess what? You can stay right here for your rest, because exercise 2, we are going to go right into kneeling get-ups. That's right. So we start in this tall kneeling position still, and bring one leg up, stand. That same leg that stood up first is the first leg to go back down. You keep leading up and down with this same leg. And at the halfway point, let's say your coach is about to call out halfway. All right, everybody, switch sides. Now you switch the leading leg, and the other leg is going to go up and down first. So whatever leg leads you up, my left is leading me up, my left leads me down. It's the same leg to lead you down until it's the halfway point. Totally fine to use a little bit of oomph assistance pushing off your thigh there, and then again assistance kind of lowering you back down like this. Totally okay, but we have to be a little cautious with that. If it's to the level of needing to completely lean over, like you're doing this, and like your whole body is coming over, and it's kind of a judgment call on that, but I think you could see the difference of a little assistance versus, almost 100% assistance on that. So if there's that much assistance needed, or of course, we're back to the situation where you perhaps can't kneel on the floor due to a restriction with the knees or something, your alternative is going to be step-ups. So grab one of the boxes, choose your height, whatever challenge level you want, and we're going to do step-ups for your alternative. Same exact idea as far as when to switch sides. So I'm going to lead the first half of the set with my left leg up and down. Up left, down left, up left, down left. Consistently with that left leg. Now it's halfway. Up right, down right, up right, down right. And see how that works with the switching sides halfway through. Okay. So that's our kneeling get-ups or step-ups. And I want to add, let's not utilize step-ups because you don't like the kneeling get-ups. Because let's be real, nobody likes the kneeling get-ups. But they're very functional, because how often in our life do we have to get up off the floor, and possibly at some point not by choice, like we tripped and we fell, oops, we're okay, but we have to get up off the floor. It's a need. So it's very important to be able to work on that function of daily life. So let's practice, let's get stronger, and let's do them if we can. Exercise 3 is a 2-point row. So we're going to do a back exercise. A lot of people think this is an arm exercise, and it's not. I mean, you're using your arm because we have to use our arms, but it's actually a back exercise. You're working like this part of your back. I want you to also use a different weight than you use for your shoulder press. Your shoulder is significantly weaker than your back. Your back is a huge subgroup, whatever, group of muscles. Your shoulder is a tiny little group of muscles. So you should have a different weight that you use for your press. I'm using the same one because I'm lazy and I'm doing a quick demo, and I just use the same one. So you should have a nice bigger weight than you used for your shoulder press a moment ago or a couple exercises ago. Big wide stance here. If you're too narrow here, it kind of doesn't allow you the best stabilization. So get that back leg way back. It helps you to flatten your back more. Pull this weight. You can support yourself on your front knee or your front thigh. Pull this weight up and back towards your hip bone, not towards your chest or rib cage. So if you're going towards your chest or rib cage, it's getting a little too cramped. You're probably shrugging your shoulder, not hitting the correct muscles. But if you depress your shoulder down, see how I did that? It was here, but now it's here. And you kind of pull it back towards your hip bone. That's going to target the right muscles in your back. So you have the support on your front leg, up and back, halfway through the set. You don't have to turn like I did, but all you have to do is switch sides halfway through. Very easy switch. Okay, so that is our third exercise. Exercise 4 is a little bit of cardio. It's going to be fast feet. I've done this one for a very long time. The 20-second set might not be too rough, but the 30 and the 40 is going to be a little more challenging. It's cardio. You just go fast from the side. You can see better. Fast feet. It's kind of right in the name. Stay on the balls of your feet is very important, and it's just very important to also understand the difference between the balls of the feet and the toes and the tiptoes. So we're not on the tiptoes like this. We're not, so this is your tiptoes, but balls of the feet is a little different. Your feet are staying mostly flat. Your heels can gently tap the floor, so you're not trying to keep your heels like ballerina, like on the tips of your toes. Go as fast as you can. You'll notice for the longer sets, not only does it get cardiovascularly tiring, but it can start to kind of get tiring in your feet and your calves, so down here, and your thighs can get a little tired. So you can stay in one spot, but if you want to like kind of drift them wide or drift them back narrow or kind of move left and right, just to kind of keep your brain more activated or change the feel a little bit, that's totally fine. especially for that 40-second set, because it gets a little tedious staying in one spot for 40 seconds. If you want to go wide or kind of shift left and right, have some fun with it, totally fine. But go as fast as you can. I want to see smoke coming out from the back of your feet, and that's our fast beat. Next up, we have alternating reverse lunges. So this is a stationary thing. We're not going to do the forward walking ones. So stay in one spot, big step back, bend both knees, and then up and forward all kind of at the same time. Then you switch legs with the leg that goes back, bend both knees, up and forward. So the lower you go, the more challenging it gets. So you go as low as you're able. But what I see the most of, you can go somewhere and like hold on to something for balance if you need to, totally fine. What we see the most is kind of like this. So what you want to do instead is keep your back really tall and straight. So think of your body as just always straight up and down like this. Bend both knees. See how my body position didn't change? It didn't come to now down here. That's one thing. And the other thing we see a lot of is kind of like, I can't even really do it. I don't know what, oh yeah, the front leg staying kind of straight. I can't even really do it. So I did it for a second. Yeah, the front leg staying straight and the back leg, the hips kind of shifting back like this. So just think of both knees bending to a 90-degree angle. And I'll do one from the side so you can kind of see what I mean. Watch both of my knees consistently, or I should say simultaneously bending. So I'm not trying to keep, like, now my back knee is trying to stay straight. That's incorrect. Now my front knee is trying to stay straight. That's incorrect. Both knees simultaneously bend. Doesn't matter how low you get, you go to the depth of your ability. Whether that's here, or if you're more advanced, if that's all the way down. Doesn't matter. But both knees bent, not just the front knee, not just the back knee. That's super important. And then we're also not having that forward fall, that forward lean. Okay. They're very challenging on the muscles, of course, but it's also very knee intensive. So if there's any knee discomfort, if you have a pre-existing knee thing, we'll switch you to sumo squats. Lunges are a little more hamstring and glute the way we do them. We do them always with a wider step because that's more knee friendly. So if anyone is going to forego the lunges, we'll switch you to a wide squat, which is that sumo. Your coach can review that with you. We do sumos quite often. So that'll be your alternative. Otherwise, the reverse alternating lunges. Next up is a plank hip tap. So this one's a little different. Elbow plank. Okay, so you can choose knees, which will look like this. Now remember, if you're doing knees, the knees aren't under the hips like this, but they are back. So your hips are sunken down. Okay, so we don't have that steep little butt. Or toes, of course. Same idea. So even with the toe plank, we don't want the hips too high. With either one, put your knees or your toes, whichever one you're on, kind of wide, because we are going to be lifting one hand off the floor or one elbow off the floor. So if you have a wider base with your knees or your feet, that'll help you to stay a little more balanced, a little more level. Okay, and what we're doing is going to be releasing that elbow and coming back and touching our same side hip. Okay, so it'll look like this. Reaching back, tap the hip, switch sides. Of course, you can't see my left side. We're trying to avoid, you probably saw my body twist and turn a little. There's no way to avoid that. But we're trying to avoid too much of that. So we're trying to avoid like excessive twisting like this. See how much I'm twisting when I lift up one hand? So try to stay as level as you can. Minimal shifting of the hips. Like I said, there'll be some. And of course, a knee or a toe option there. And as always, we can take this up to an incline and do the same thing on an incline. But again, what don't we do with an incline? Elbows aren't way in front of the shoulders and hips, butt isn't up in the air like this. So this isn't a plank. Instead, we want the shoulders stacked over the elbows and the hips level. Okay. All right, that's our plank with the hip tap. Exercise 7 is another cardio, but it's going to also be a lot of leg, squat, hop. So most of you have done jump squats, which is normal squat. I'll show you from the side. You jump up and you just continue that. This is kind of the same, but I actually think it's a little better because it kind of breaks up the continual squats a little bit. So I like to say it's like a squat with a little hiccup in the middle. So you do your squat, you jump up, but you jump the feet together, and then you have a nice gentle little hop in the middle. So when you jump back out, you jump back into a normal squat stance, and that's when you go down again. So you're coming together, have that little hop in the middle, that's kind of like the hiccup. So anyone avoiding any impact for whatever reason, restriction, any other medical, whatever, any reason, you're going to do more of an agility type of hiccup in the middle. So it'll be a squat and then in, out, out. Okay, see what I'm doing here? In, out, out, down. In, out, out, down. So keep that going really nice and quick and smooth. And that'll be your alternative for the squat hops. Okay, and the final one, the team builder, of course, this one's going to be pretty different. We haven't done it before. So it's called a killer drill. Sounds scarier than it is. So you can see I have two dumbbells set up on their ends. Some of the gyms might have cones. Some might be using the dumbbells like this. And every gym's going to do it a little different. It depends on the coach, and it depends on how many people are in your session. So it might be teams, it might be individuals, might go for time, might go for rounds. Okay, but the drill itself, it's a speed and agility type of drill combined. So you go to the first marker as fast as you can. So some people might be running, some might be jogging, some might be speed walking, some might be doing kind of a combination of all of it. Okay, so you go as fast as you can to the first marker. You do have to touch it. So it's not just kind of like reaching towards it. You have to touch it. Okay, turn around as fast as you can back to the start. Then you go all the way to the farthest marker, touch it, and then you go back to the beginning. So I'm going to start and do a whole round just to show you, to get an example. A whole round doesn't take all that much time. Okay, so I'm at the start. I run to the first one, touch, run back, run to the farthest one, touch, and run back. Okay? There would be a marker at the start first too, and I forgot. Okay. So I also didn't use the full length of my turf because there's people behind the camera doing some stuff. So that is our killer drill. So that did not take too much time. I went pretty fast. There wasn't that much space. So that's why some coaches might time that for a minute. So you might do it like multiple times. There might be teams and everyone has to go through it twice. It's going to be up to your coach to decide. But that's what the killer drill looks like, speed and agility. So work to your ability. Again, speed walk it, jog it, whatever you're comfortable doing. Going to be a nice little cardio finisher. Okay, and that is week 31. So a couple new things in there. Hope you enjoy it. See you back next week for week 32.